සිහින් ඉන්න කොහොමද?
ඒකත් හොඳයි තමයි.
So that's a good question. That's a good one.
ඔව්. දැන් කතා කරනකොට ඒක බොරුවක් නොවන විදිහට. දැන් දන්නේ නැහැ මේ කට්ටිය එවනෙත් නෑ කිව්වේ.
Has everybody heard the question? So it was how can one be mindful while talking? So Kam says first, what you say should be genuine, true.
ඔව් දැන් මුසාවාද පිටුනානේ පරදාවත් සම්පප්පලාප කියලා හතරක් තියෙනනේ වෙන්නේ. ඒකෙන් තොර වචන තමයි.
So the kind of speech that is free from the four bad ways of talking, that is, it should avoid lying, avoid coarse or rough speech, avoid backbiting, and avoid empty speech. So then that is something quite difficult actually. So the first three are not so difficult, but avoiding the last one, the empty talk, or just kind of empty prattle, that is difficult. And Okam says what we do is usually that one.
So සතියෙන් ඉන්න බලාගෙන ඒ වචන කොයි විදිහටද කියවෙන්නේ මේ වචන කොයි විදිහට කතා කරන්නේ කියලා මේ සතිය ඉන්නවනේ දෙකෙන් මේන්න ඕනේ.
So if you want to say something, you need to be already staying in with sati or paying attention beforehand, and then you see where whatever you want to say, you see where it is arising from, and then understand about that thing. So sati and kind of understanding need to be there.
Oh.
But anyway, this empty speech or something like that, this sampapalapa, we sometimes kind of fall into that one. So, and we don't understand what we engage in is actually that empty prattle.
කතා කරන එක්කන මම සතියෙන් ඉන්නවන වෙනිට ඉතින් මම කතා කරන වචන තේරුම දැනගෙන ඉන්නේ.
So if somebody that is staying mindful while talking, that means each and every word you know what you are saying. It's like always you know the thing that is being just now said, the word, you know what that means.
ඉතින් නෑ කතා කරනකොට ඒ වචන හතරෙන් මොනවද කියවෙන්නේ කියලා මේ පරීක්ෂා කරලා බලන්න. දැන් අපි කතා කරනකොට ඒ වගේ වචන කියවුණාද කියලා පරීක්ෂා කරලා බලනවා.
ඒ වගේ වචන කියන
දැන් මේ සම්පප්පලාප වගේ.
So now I think Kam's asking you if you reflect on the type of talk that you have been doing. Were there occasions where what you were saying was just kind of empty talk or not? So if you just try to apply your attention and awareness also during the speaking, that is good enough. So you just have to like really apply or exert yourself, and then that's okay. So of course when you are back in university, it's very difficult. maybe it's not actually possible to do. But no matter what, it's good and it's enough if you just try to do what you can as best as you can.
And me wagi vet පුළුවන්. දැන් මෙහෙම මේ වගේ vet පුළුවන්.
In places like our meditation center, it is possible to do that.
දැන් වෙන ගමේ ගොඩේ ගියා. මොනවා හරි තියද වචන අතර කියවෙනවා.
But if you go outside somehow or another, it's almost unavoidable. Like avoiding the empty speech is basically impossible.
දැන් මං කිව්වෙත් නිමල් එක මේක. නිමල් එක කීකේයිද? නිමල් එනකොට
Animal Oh.
නිමල් එක කීකේයිද දැන් අපි මේ පුංචි අම්මා කෙනෙක් හිටියා. මේ පුංචි අම්මා මං එනකන් ඉන්නවා. කියලා කියන්නේ.
Kela කියන්නේ කවුද?
ඒ පුංචි අම්මා.
So anyway, so there was this one neighbor that is in a long time associating with our center, came to visit Loku Hamuduru, and with him his auntie came, and the auntie started like Kelankian Pisunavaja. She started like backbiting, like carrying. Yeah, but the gossip is not a good word, because gossip can mean two categories together. Anyway, like the gossip on the like bad side, not just like empty talking, okay?
Man, he had to get it. He won
Yeah, so this auntie, she most definitively, if she comes to talk with you, she starts saying, that person doing that and that person doing that.
අක්කලා දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඒතර මං ගියා ඇති ඕනාවා දැන් පටන් ගන්න කියන්නේ. දැන් මම එහාට ගියා. ගියා ඇති දැන් පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ කියන්නේ. කියලා කියන්නේ. ඉතින් අර දෙන්න ගියම දැන් ඕනාවා. ආවගෙන මං ඉඳන් ගියා. ඕන දැන් පටන් ගන්න. ඉතින් පටන් ගන්න කියලා.
Anyway, so that අක්කලා කියන්නේ නිමල්ටද?
නෑ මගේ අක්කලා දෙන්නේ.
Okay, so
නිමල්ට මම ගත්තා.
In Lokama's family, same situation. He had elder sisters, so if he goes to talk with like them, then he hears all kind of like gossip.
Then man had to have and then
කවුද?
මම පුංචම් මැදිරිට පුංචම් මැදි ඉන්නකම් බලන් ඉන්න උදේ හන්ද එනකම් බලන් ඉන්න මං එනකම්
බන්දවට පටලුණා ඒක නිමාත පුංචි අම්මා හිටියා
නෑ නිමාත මං කීකිය
okay, so correction. So what Lokuhamdu was saying, when this person came here, Lokuhamdu started telling him story about his own family, and in Lokuhamdu's family there was this elderly auntie, and she like gossiping but really backbiting and carrying tales. So she basically stays morning till evening watching people and like recording what they do, and if Lokuham comes to visit her, she starts immediately reporting what all the other people are doing. So this is what Lokuham was telling this person that came to visit him just before the class.
දැන් අර අක්කල දෙන්න එනකොටම කියනවා අන්න එනවා පටන් ගන්න. මට කියනවා අන්න එනවා පටන් ගන්න. ඉතින් පටන් ගන්න නෑදෑයන්ගේ වැරදි ගෙදර දුවලගේ වැරදි.
So when Lokam comes to visit, that is when he was still a layperson, I think. So she starts complaining about the two sisters, then her own daughter, how she's like not capable to do these things and these things properly, and then all the other relatives and so on. So the Lokamru used to stay and listen to all these things. So then Lokamru was practicing very skillfully active listening skills with this auntie, nodding and acknowledging in all the right places. So she was very happy that he keeps on listening, and she was very satisfied how she can unload all this rubbish on his head. So then she finished, after some time she finishes the load, and the last thing she says, but son, don't tell these things to your mother. But like people at home, especially the mother, she knows that if Lokam goes there, she knows that he was going to visit this auntie, and that she knew the nature of the auntie. So the mother knows when Lokhamdu was going there that now he is going to be listening to all these gossips. So after Lokam started meditating here, he stopped visiting this auntie. So she got angry. Because basically Lokam told us before, he was almost the only one that used to like on purpose willingly visit her and listen to her complaints. So now this person disappeared, and so she's very unhappy. So she was like, she was very angry because like she didn't have anybody to complain to. But it's actually kind of sickness. Both coarse speech, or if you like swearing and backbiting, once you have gotten into this, it becomes like a habit, and you like to like go on and keep with that. So once you have gotten but once you develop that habit, this habit of doing one of these, it's quite difficult to get out of the habit. And Lokam says actually the like carrying tails, it's actually kind of possible, but especially this empty chit chat is like impossible. So how you stop that and overcome that situation? You need to be aware what you want to say and just note it, and that's it. කතාවටද
ඔව්.
තමාගේ කතා කරන අදහසට.
තමාගේ කතා කරනකොටම
So you start noting what you do, and with that you stop yourself from really saying these things.
ඒක හිතනම කතා කරන්න ඕනේ.
So I don't know how to say this. It's like sometimes you talk almost involuntarily, like without really thinking, you just talk. So Lokam says this is something you should not do. Always you should like having thought out what you want to say, only talk.
එනකොටම මේ අදා වචනයක් කියන්න දෙනවා කියලා
Oh.
මේ සතිය තියෙන්න ඕනේ සම්පජාන.
So you need to have actually certain clear comprehension to see how the idea. So when we talk, we are expressing some ideas. So you see some idea and the intention to express the idea by talking. So, but you need certain clear comprehension to catch it at that point.
එතකොට ක්‍රමානුකූලව අඩු වෙලා යනවා.
So, narakela.
ඔව්.
So if you practice that, these wrong ways of talking gradually, little by little, they get reduced.
ඒක පාට එක දවසක් නම් අඩු වෙන්නේ පුරුදු වුණා පස්සේ.
So it won't disappear in one day. Once you have trained yourself well enough, then there will be some reduction.
හොඳයි නේ.
That should be enough. අර ලොකම් ඊයේ අර උපමාවක් කියන්න හිටියා අර මොකක් හරි අර මොබයිල් ෆෝන් උපමා.
ඔව්.
ලොකම් අන්තිමට කිව්වා අර කලින් ගොඩක් අර ගණන්කාරයෙක් එක්ක තරහා ගියා. ඊට පස්සේ භාවනා කරනකොට ඒක නැති වෙලා.
ඔව්.
ඊට පස්සේ ලොකු හාමුදුරුවෝ අර උපමාවක් කියන්න හිටියා. අර මොකක් හරි මොබයිල් ෆෝන් උපමා.
ඔව්.
ඒක කියන්න කැමති නෑ.
මොබයිල් ෆෝන්
මම දන්නේ නෑ
මම කේම කිව්වා. ඒක මොකටද කිව්වේ මතක නෑ.
ඊයේ තණ්හා උපාදාන භව මේ වගේ කතාවක් තිබුණා.
ඔව් තණ්හාවට.
ඔව්.
දැන් මේකක් කරන් තියෙන්නේ.
ඔව්.
තණ්හාවට.
So now this kind of leftover from yesterday. So this is mostly to do still with craving, tanha. Oh.
Okay. Even තණ්හාවක් තියෙනවා කියලා.
Oh.
වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
So we have some kind of craving, like we have these smartphones or mobile phones. So we have some level of craving in connection with them, but very often we don't understand that the craving is actually there.
එතකොට ඒක කියන්නේ ප්‍රයෝජනයක් ගැන වෙන්නේ.
So we usually say this is something useful.
මේ ප්‍රයෝජනය කියලා කියන්නේ මේ ඇතුලේ තියෙන තණ්හාව තමයි.
But within this saying this is something useful is craving.
ඒක නැතිලා බලන්න ඕනේ එතකොට.
You have to see what's the reaction if that thing is destroyed or lost.
නැතුණාම තමයි ඒක එළියට එන්නේ නැත්තම් මේක ප්‍රයෝජනවත් එක මේක අවශ්‍යයි එහෙම තමයි කියන්නේ. ඔක අවශ්‍යම නැහැ ඉතින්.
Normally people say this is something quite useful, they might say this is something really quite necessary, but actually most of these things are not necessary, but that's what people say.
ටෙලිෆෝන් නැති කාලේ මිනිස්සු කොච්චර මේ එමෙට කරන්නේ.
So if we consider the smartphones themselves, so not so long ago there were like nobody had mobile phones and smartphones and people managed to live.
මේ වගේ අපේ තණ්හාව මොබයිල් ෆෝන් එකේ තණ්හාව සිතේ භවංගෝධිකේ පවතිනවා.
So Lokam says with things like the mobile phone or smartphones, there is this something like this hidden craving and Lokam says then the mind operates in something like this Bhavanga mind.
උඩින් පේන්නේ.
So, meaning you cannot understand it on the surface level, you don't understand that the craving is there.
ඔව්. ඒක දැන් කාටවත් පේන්නේ දැන් මොකක් හරි දැක්කොත් ඒකට අවශ්‍ය නැහැ වගේ. දැන් කවුරු හරි ඔන්න මා කෙරේ හිතනවා. දැන් හිතන ආහාර දෙක අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. දැන් උනට මගේ යටි හිතේ ඒකේ අවශ්‍යතාවයක් තියෙනවා.
I don't know if I understand correctly.
දැන් ඔන්න වෙන්නේ හිතනවා මට තණ්හාවක් නැහැ කියලා.
Mama hitande.
ඔව්.
So it's like a kind of example, just example. So let's say Vinita thinks I don't have craving in my mind.
ඔව්. එතකොට මට වුණාට හිතේ යටින් පවතිනවා ඒ ටෙලිෆෝන් එකේ තියෙන මේ කැමැත්ත.
But in the underlying kind of stream of mind or underlying mind, I have kind of craving or kind of attachment to the phone. And according to the way I get the thing or not get or what happens with that, this underlying hidden craving gets activated. So because of this craving, you do like you try to keep the things in good shape and clean and I don't know all kind of other things, because you do all kind of other things like how you keep and maintain the things or the phones because of this hidden craving. And the mobile phone or smartphone was just an example. So actually this happens not only with that but with most of the things. Most of it. Oh. 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 කියන්න කන්නාඩියට චුට්ටක් එතම අවශ්‍යතාවක් තියෙනවා. So like Lokan says, like when you have spectacles, the craving is really not there that much or at all, because you cannot do without. Like if you want to read or see what is far, you really need the spectacles. But the mobile phone is not something like that.
Oh,
So Lokam says, I cannot stay without the spectacles, but I can stay without the phone. So actually there is no need for the phone, but it's seemingly there, and the seeming usefulness or practicality of that is the hidden, what that is about is actually just this hidden craving. So if you consider many of the things we have or use, the craving functions in a very similar way in connection with those things. So like you can consider this ordained people, when you get ordained, you shave your head, remove your lay clothes and things, and you just get the robes and your bowl, and that's good enough. So from that you can understand basically all the other things that we had before the ordination that might have seemed as practical and necessary were actually not very that much necessary. And there was probably the craving hidden in connection with it. So the necessary kind of there are some kind of necessary practical things that help you to kind of really maintain the life, let's say, but other than that, no.
ඒක නිකන් මේ දැන් කන්නඩි අවශ්‍යතාවයන් මේවේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් නැහැ අන්නේ වගේ පවතින එකක් තණ්හාව කියන එක.
So Lokam says it's something like the example of the smartphone and the spectacles. So without the spectacles, it's very really like impossible. Whereas without the phone, it's not impossible. So.
දැන් කාම තණ්හා, භව තණ්හා පිළිති ඒක දැන් රූප තණ්හා, සද්ද තණ්හා, ගන්ධ
So
තණ්හා.
yesterday Lokam said first explain about these three broad categories: craving, sensuality, existence, and non-existence. And then he started explaining more that we have more just mostly the craving sensuality, which means craving sights, sounds, and so on. So we see with the eye, we see forms, sights, but most of them, they are not actually necessary or useful for us. Likewise with the ear, we hear many sounds, but out of the sound, all the sounds we hear, only small part is necessary and useful for us. The rest is kind of just like kind of does not do anything really. So then with the objects we get through our eyes and ears, they mostly don't like don't last, let's say. So when I ask what Lokamru meant, he says what you see is always changing, what you hear is always changing. So there is not one thing that is going on. The bodily things and things you get through nose, those things they seemingly have kind of the lastingness is there. And that's where the fault lies.
Then කොට්ටයක් කියලා නිදාගන්න ඒ කොට්ටේ නැත්තම් ඉතින් මොන එක තමුන්ට ඒ කොට්ටේ නැත්තම් පුරුදු වෙච්ච කොට්ටේ නැත්තම් ඒක පුරුදු වෙලා ඉතින් ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබෙනවා.
For example, most of us sleep using some kind of pillow. So if you don't have the pillow you use, or if you don't have the pillow, or you don't have the one that you normally use, because the head and like the neck and the body are used to this the one you use, if you don't have it, there arises a problem. Because the body is like used to your own pillow.
පුරුදු වෙච්ච ඒවා තියෙනවා.
It seems there are things like that also for the nose.
ඔව්. දැන් ඇහෙන්නම් දැකපුවාම ඉවර වෙනවා. දැකපුවාම ඉවරයි.
So with the things we see and hear, so as soon as you see it, it's gone and it's like done. But I think what Lucas is trying to say with the bodily experiences and smells, it's not like that.
කනෙන් ගත්ත එකත් ඉවරෙම ඉවරයි.
Yeah, so the sights and sounds, they finish there like at the time when they are experienced, and that's it.
ඒක මතක් කරලා ගන්න එක වෙනම එකක් වෙනවා.
Remembering them is another thing, but really like I think Mahita every මිනිස්සු පැහැදිලි.
පැහැදිලිනේ?
I think everybody understood.
දැන් ඔබ තමයි මේ තණ්හාවට හේතුව වෙතම. එහෙන් එනෝනේ. තණ්හාව. ඒක ඉතින් ඒ තණ්හාව විඳ ඉන්නවා. කන්නෙන් ගත්ත එක විඳිනවා. විඳිනවා කියන්නේ ඒක තරහකින් ඉන්නවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් ආදාවකින් ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් ඒක තමයි සතුටු වෙන්නේ තමයි.
So with what things we hear or see, we immediately either get displeased or irritated, angry with them, or we like them and are happy about them.
ඒක දන්නෙත් නැහැ තියනවා කියන්නේ. එහෙම කැමැත්ත තණ්හාව තියනවා කියලා අවබෝධයක් නැහැ.
But we mostly don't have understanding that there is some liking or not. So it is according to the level of sati or at least attention that we have that we can understand how these things are happening. So that's why people are instructed to stay mindful. So if an object happens to impinge on your sense spaces, that's okay. Because that is something natural. But holding on to the objects or conflicting with that, that's where the wrong happens, where the mistake is happening. So then the craving can really come to the surface. But actually it's better if you manage to note it before that happens. If you note it beforehand, this is the best. So Lokam says if you note it only once you have gotten the craving or anger, that is kind of useless. So then, because this thing has already came and finished or died, Lokam says died really. So, and you are like getting involved and noting something that is already dead. So we need to produce the sati before these things actually happen. With the eye and ear, it's not so difficult, but with the nose, tongue, and body or tactile experiences, it's kind of, it can be quite challenging.
ඇත්ත
So normally we understand about that only once we have already this liking going on or disliking or anger going on. But we should strive to note it before this liking or the anger happens.
ඔතන ඉතින් අත්කන්නාතාවන ඉන්න වෙන්නේ. ඒක නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ.
Is the seen and heard things, it's not a big issue.
මනේක ලයින් කරගන්න පුළුවන් නේ.
Because there usually is, when you note it, anyway you can finish it off and be done with that. But with the nose, tongue and body, it's difficult.
මේ සිත්තේ අත්කන්නේවා.
So then you have the things that happen in the mind itself.
ඒකෙදි කාටවත් පේන්නේ නෑ.
So those are things that nobody can really see.
ඔව්. ඉතින් ඒක කොච්චර අත්කන්නවද දවස්.
So in one day, how many of those things are produced?
දැන් භාවනා කළා ඉතිරත් නෑ. භාවනා කරනකොට ඒ වගේ වට ගන්න. සිතේ.
So even if you meditate, still the mind is producing all kind of things.
ඉතින් පෙරක ඒක නැති කරගන්න කියලා මෙනෙහි කරනවා. මේ අත්කන්නාතාව නෙමෙයි හිතේ හටගත්ත දේවල්. හිතේ හටගන්න දේවල්.
So some people, because they want to stop it, so then they don't really note the seeing and hearing, but they are basically exclusively noting only the things that are arising in the mind.
නිකම් බලන්න අවධානය යොමු කළා. දවසේ සිතේ හටගන්නේ.
So if you try to consider in one day how many things have occurred to the mind.
සිතේ හටගන්නේ ඇලෙන ගැටීම් දෙක.
Or you can count it this way, how many occasions where some kind of liking or attachment was happening or some conflicting was happening. So you have like two groups in one day, how many occasions like that happen?
සිතේ අඩු වුණොත් සිතේ අඩු වුණොත් ඇලෙන ගැටීම් අඩු වුණොත් මේ අත්කන්නාතාව නිකන් අඩු වෙනවා.
So if this like holding on to and conflicting with the mind produced things decreases, already automatically these similar occasions that happen in connection with sights and hearing are also decreased.
දැන් සිතේ අඩු නම් ඉබේම දැන් විතත් එක්කනේ මේ කායික ක්‍රියා තියෙන්නේ. කායික ක්‍රියාව නෙමෙයි නැත්නම් නෙමෙයි. කායිකව ක්‍රමානුකූලව අඩු වෙලා යන්නේ නැත්නම්.
So I think what I'm saying again that if you manage to reduce this tendency to hold on things or conflict with them that are happening in the mind, automatically the same like holding on to and conflicting with that happens in connection with the body and bodily activities is also reduced.
සිතේ හටගන්නේ නැති කරන්නේ නෙමෙයි. නැති කරගන්නේ නෙමෙයි. අපි මේ භාවනා කරන්නේ.
So because most of us came here to practice because they want to like stop some of the mental things.
භාවනා කරනවා කියලා අලුත් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. මේ සිතම පුරුදු කරනවා.
So this meditation is not a really new thing, it's just kind of training your mind.
ඒවා එනැති අවබෝධයෙන් බලන් ඉන්න මේ සතියනේ සම්පජානියේ.
So you just watch the mind and see what is happening, and with that you need to have certain clear comprehension. So when those two are there, then it's okay.
සිතේ හටගන්නේ ඒ අටගත් එක ඊට පස්සේ සිතෙන්ම පිළි අරගෙන ඒක ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න හිතෙනවා. සිතෙන්ම පිළිගන්නවා ඒක. හිතේ හටගත්ත පිළියාටගෙන ඊට පස්සේ සිතින්ම ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා හිතනවා.
Oh.
ඒතකොට ඒක තමයි අපි බලන්නේ ඇන්නේ ගැටෙන්නේ කොහොමද?
So now look, I'm saying something like this. But if we don't have the certain clear comprehension, the things that appear in the mind or are produced in the mind, we, instead of just knowing about them with certain comprehension and understanding what they are about, instead of that we accept them, and when we accept those things that were produced by the mind, we start having other ideas what to do with them, and that's where the problem starts increasing.
ඔය විදිහට තමයි මනදෙන්න තමයි මෙතන ආතවල හිතලා ක්‍රියාත්මක කරලා එදිට දාන්නේ ඔක්කොම. හිතේම ක්‍රියාත්මක කරලා එදිට දාන්නේ.
So you once again you accept what has been produced by the mind, and then you start expressing it to the outside world.
දැන් ඔය සතියෙන් කරන්නේ වෙනේට මේ සිතේම හට ගන්න දේවල් අවධානය යොමුකොට මේ සතිය කියන්නේ ඇලෙන්නේ නැතුව ගැටෙන්නේ නැතුව ඉන්න එක. ඉතින් අර සිතේ හට ගන්නේ ඇලෙන්නේ නැතුව ගැටෙන්නේ නැතුව ඉන්නවා. ඔව්. එතකොට ඒක පුරුදු වෙලා මේ අස්කන්න ආසාවල ඇලෙන්නේ නැතුව ගැටෙන්නේ නැතුව ඉන්නවා.
So if you train yourself in this way, once again sati is this non-holding, non-attachment, or not holding onto or not grasping after the things, and not conflicting with the things. So if you have this kind of this kind of quality of the mind that keeps it from holding on to and conflicting, combined with clear comprehension, and you apply that to the whatever is arising in the mind, then automatically this tendency to hold on to objects or conflict with them is reduced also for the objects coming from the normal five senses. Normal five sense doors. So you stop holding on to and conflicting with the things you see, hear, and so on.
Oh. මේ ඇතුළේ හොඳට ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන්නේ. හොඳනේ ඇතුළේ ඇදෙන්නේ. ඇතුළේ තමයි ඇදෙන්නේ. මොනවාද ලෝභ දේශ මොහ මෙතන ඇදෙන්නේ. මේවා මෙතන නැහැ.
Because all this greediness, anger, delusion, things like that, they happen within us. They have nothing to do with the eyes, ears, and so on.
So මේක දැන් පුරුදු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ලෝභ දේශ මොහ වලට පුරුදු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
But because we have already gotten I think what Lokoham is saying is, because already we have the habit, or we have already before gotten used to these, especially these three roots of the unwholesome, then even with connection with the things that come through the eye, ear, and so on, that greediness, hatred, and delusion is also active.
ඒ පුරුදුනා කියන්නේ මෙතන එන්නේ එක මෙතෙන්ට ආපු ගාම මෙහෙ තීච්ච දැන් භාවනා කරන එක්කනට මෙතන හටගත්තේ නැති නිසා මේ හටගන්නේ.
So with the normal person, if we say the so-called heart, so because in our heart there is greediness, hatred, and delusion working, it also grasps after the sights, sounds, and so on. But the meditation person, because he watches the heart and these three, that is the greediness, hatred and delusion happening in the heart starts reducing, then automatically it can stop being applied to the sights, sounds and so on.
ඔයකනේ දැන් ගුණධර්ම මෙතන වැඩි වෙන්න මේ ඉන්ද්‍රිය සංවරය වැඩි.
So as your good qualities grow, then this sense restraint is also growing.
ඔව්. මෙතන සංවර නැත්තම් මේ සංවර නැති මේ.
So comes as if you don't have the restraint of the heart, there won't be real restraint of the senses.
හරියට එක්කෙනාගේ සම්පූර්ණ එක්කන්නාද ඒව ආරම්භන ගැනීම රහතන් වහන්සේ.
Oh.
ඒකට වැරදි විදිහට ආරම්භන ගැනීම නෑ.
So if consider an arahat, fully liberated person, fully liberated one, in his case or her case, there is none of these like qualities working at all in the heart, so then they are not applied even for any of the sights, sounds and so on.
මොකද මෙතන ඒ ලෝභ දේශ මාර්ගම හැදෙන්නේ.
Because here like in the so-called heart or here within, these things are not there already, so how can they be there in connection with the seeing, hearing and so on.
මෙතන ගන්න ආකාරයට තමයි මෙහෙන් ගන්න.
So the way things are apprehended by like within, that same way the things that are coming from the sense doors are apprehended.
යන්නේ නොනොය කියන්න ඔයකින් ඔයගන් මහාචාර්යතුමනි. අත්පියන්නේ නෝන ඔයගන් තම මහාචාර්ය. එයාට කියන්නේ කිව්ව මම ආගෙන ඉන්නේ.
So comes inviting Priyanjali because she has like university education about this kind of field of things. So if she likes to say something more, and will just listen.
දැන් මෙයා ළඟට එනවනේ ගොඩක් එහෙම.
So guys asking her, isn't it that there are many people asking about exactly these or similar things?
ආගෙන ඉන්න කිතරක් වෙන්න කියලා.
ඒක නම් කියනවාද බං?
ඈ?
ඒ දෙඟු කියනවාද?
ඔව්. ආගෙන ඉන්න හිතන්නේ. ඔව් මං කිව්වේ ඒකයි. මේගොල්ලෝ ලෙඩ තමයි.
So I think then what Lokam is saying is basically because Priyanjali is psychologist or psychiatrist? Psychologist, so she meets with people that have mental problems, and some of them probably really crazy. So with those you just basically just listen to them. So then Priyanjali said, yeah, that's true, you just really just listen to them. Or you sit by them listening. What is meant by Lokam says, it's like you don't take it into your own mind, these things, because if you do that, then that's the end of story for you. Oh. Again? Oh. Oh. Hey. So, anyways, I will translate. So Lokam says, if you have arahat and somebody scolds him, it's kind of useless, because in the arahat's case, the scolding hits the ear and that's about it. So that's why Lokam says scolding an arahat is a useless thing.
මෙහෙට ගින්නේ.
It does not enter the arahat's mind or heart.
ඔව්. ඇහෙනුත් එහෙමයි.
So likewise with the eye.
ඔව් දැක්කා.
So he just
දැකීමක් විතරයි.
sees, there is just like seeing happening and that's it.
ඔව් දැන් ඒක ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ මේ හදවතට යන්නේ මේ අරමුණෙන් ඉවරයි.
It does not go to the arahat's heart really. It just gets registered by the eye, ear and so on, and it finishes there.
ඔව් දැන් අර බාහිය බාහිය
So
මේ
that is
බාහියට දැන් අර පුදුම දිට්ඨ මාත්‍ර.
that there is this quite popular or well-known story of Bahya of the bark cloth, and that is the kind of famous Buddha's advice to him. In the scene there should be just the scene, in the heart just the heart, in the sense just the sense, and in the cognized just the cognized. Then it goes on some more, that's not the end, but it is about this thing that Lokhamdu was talking about.
දැන් අපිට එන්නේ
But we are unable to do it that way.
අපි ඒක අරගෙන තැන්පත් කරලා තියාගෙන හිතට තියෙනවා.
In our case, it comes to us and we keep it and stockpile it and whatnot.
ඔව්. හිතට තියාගෙන මේ මාසෙම තියාගන්න ඉන්න.
Sometimes you keep those things within yourself for months or even longer.
ඒවලේ මාතන්න ඉන්න.
Huh?
ඒවලේ මාතන්න මේ
But if you, instead of that,
එයාට ඇහිලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් ඒක මේකෙන් අර මෙතන හදාන්න තණ්හාමාන දිට්ඨියෙන් ලෝභ දෙක මේකෙන් හැදෙන්නේ. ඒක මෙහෙ හැදෙන්නේ නැතිනම් මෙහෙ හැදෙන්නේ.
so if you, instead of that, when you, let's say, hear something, you hear it and that's the end, that means the craving, conceit and views that might be operational in the heart are not there. So whatever is heard is not apprehended by those, and it just finishes there and then, and you don't keep it with you and stockpile it at all. You just like abandon it at that point. Anyway, may you be well and happy. That is enough. Anyway, so all these sicknesses arise in the mind. That is the last thing that needs to be said.